Voters over 50 are deeply concerned about their finances and the financial direction of the country. With us today for our roundtable are two experts who understand the economy's ups and downs and the political implications of them.
Ben Stein is a multifaceted guy, an actor, economist, lawyer, and the author of the book, What Would Ben Stein Do? He writes Ben Stein's diary for the American Spectator. He also writes and comments for the New York Times and CBS Sunday Morning, among other venues. He joins us from Los Angeles. And from New York is financial journalist Consuelo Mack, host of Wealth Track, a program seen on public television stations around the country. Welcome to you both. Consuelo, the president is obviously having his troubles, a lot of low favorability ratings. Among seniors and boomers, do you see that there is a particular upset with him because of their financial situation?
The financial situation of seniors and boomers is a real problem right now. It's actually a tragedy because the older you get, the less time you have to make up losses that you are either suffering in the stock market or the fact that right now that your savings are getting practically 0% interest rates. So they're being hit by two problems. One, volatility in the stock market and losses in the stock market. The stock market is still not where it was 5 years ago. And also the fact that they're earning very little on their savings. So savers are getting shafted. What we have here is a crisis of confidence in Washington and in the leadership in the White House specifically. Mort Zuckerman, a guest on primary issues here before, basically said what's lacking is adult supervision in Washington. And the buck does stop in the White House, regardless of there's lots of blame to go around. But that is a real concern for seniors, is that we're not seeing leadership on the economic front.
Ben, do you see that? I mean, do we need some grown-ups here in Washington?
Well, we needed some grown-ups very badly in the fall of 2008 when Lehman Brothers was tottering, the decision to not rescue them was probably the worst financial decision, certainly in the post-war era. But I don't think that Mr. Obama is doing that badly now. I think his public spending programs are just a waste of money, but frankly, this is such a huge economy that it's not that big a waste of public money. I just don't know what Washington could do for the boomers and seniors at this point. I mean, they've had the value of their houses crushed. They've had the value of their stock market holdings go down, although it is worth noting the stock market is up virtually 100% from its low in the spring of 2009. So there has been quite a lot of recovery there. But, I mean, suppose the very smartest person in the country, let's say Warren Buffett, who's the smartest person I know, were suddenly made president and secretary of the Treasury and chairman of the Fed. What could he do? I've often had this conversation with Warren Buffett. There's just not much he can do. There is not much you can do after a financial crisis has stopped lending and stopped credit. I don't blame Mr. Obama as much as my fellow Republicans do. I just don't see what he could do.
Sam, Washington helpless here? The president is helpless to make it any better?
Well, I think Ben's right. There's not much the president can do by himself. He has to have the cooperation of Congress, and of course he doesn't have the cooperation of Congress. But it seems to me for seniors it's going to be very interesting, Cokie. We saw 2 years ago they swept in a lot of Republicans, particularly in the House. They were angry, things were going badly. You blame the guy at the top. Whether it's fair or not is not the question. He's in charge, he hasn't helped us. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year. For instance, we've already seen cuts in such programs as home heating oil assistance during the winter. A lot of old people depend on it in New England. The Republicans wanted to help cut the budget. That was one of the things. Will the seniors now say, hold on, I don't know that cutting the budget where it's programs that help us are the right way to cure the debt or get the economy back on track? Or maybe those things are not going to be that important. I'm really a little perplexed as to how it's going to cut, since I believe Medicare and Medicaid, well, not so much Medicaid, but Social Security will not be affected for those already on the program. I don't know how the rest is going to cut.
Well, it is what we know is that the president gets the blame, and he is the guy in charge, and often an election for a second term is essentially a referendum on the 4 years that the president has just presided over. Ben Stein, do you think that that is where we are in 2012, where that people are looking at Barack Obama and saying, "You didn't cut it"?
I don't see how Barack Obama can lose, to tell you the truth. I mean, he's up against a particularly, what shall I say, discouraging Republican field right now, if I may say so. And again, I'll say this again, I'm sure I'm going to get my throat slit sometime as I'm leaving an American Spectator dinner party, but I just don't see what he could have done much different from what he has done. I don't see what any Republican could do that would make things much better. We've got to have recovery one very energetic, enthusiastic, aggressive businessman at a time, one very energetic, enthusiastic worker at a time, flexibility, inner mobility. I do think the president should take that idea of ending the tax deduction for mortgage interest right off the table. Real estate is already suffering way too much. But other than that, I just don't see what he could do. I mean, he's a human being. He's not the Messiah. He can't wave a wand.
Ben, I want to try to save you at your next Spectator dinner, but the Republicans, as you know, say, get out of the way. Let the marketplace work. Don't try to stimulate the economy and have the Fed print money. And for goodness sakes, get the regulations out of the way so business can work. Now, that's their formula.
Well, it's a formula that might work. It's not a formula that has ever worked in the past. So I don't think that any serious economist believes that over-regulation is the main problem with the economy. I don't think any serious economist believes that having higher interest rates would help the economy. I just don't see what the president can do. He got smashed in the face by a credit crunch that was not his fault. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, he has not saved himself. He doesn't get a dinner invitation.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Consuelo, that is, we are all just sort of open-jawed here listening to Ben. But are you? What is your view of the president's role here? Do you think that more could be done by him?
There is a reason Ben Stein is not president. We need leadership, and we're not getting leadership from Washington. So, you know, the president should not be saying, gee, I don't know what I can do. It was the other guy's fault, which seems to be part of the message that we're getting from the White House. There are a number of things that they can do. It is a matter of leadership, instilling confidence, giving direction. Whatever it is that a president can do, that's his job or her job. This president is completely off message because there is not a consistent message. One of the things, the biggest issues that we have is what is going on with government debt. Consumers are cutting back on their expenses. Businesses have gotten their balance sheets in order. Washington has not. The government is the only of these three legs of the economy. The government is the only one that is still spending more than it makes, and it is spending much, much more under this president. So there are many things, Ben Stein, that the president can do, but that's why he's president, and we're not hearing it from him.
Well, let's hold it right there. Consuelo Mack and Ben Stein, thank you very much for being with us.